Moody's has changed its assessment of Sanral's outlook from stable to negative, and that's after their weaker than expected e-toll revenue collection. Inge Mulder is CFO of Sanral and joins us now to explain. Morning to you, Inge. I suppose the heart of the matter is things were going quite well for you despite the opposition to e-tolling in terms of income until this panel was set up. And I think a lot of people out there saying, oh, well, this panel's going to set up and maybe we'll never have to pay our e-tolls again. And that has hit you.
Correct. That uncertainty that was created, so we saw the decline immediately in our cash flows on a monthly basis, which is still there. So for us, the biggest thing is to address the certainty, get people to understand that even the advisory panel has announced that user pay principle is here to stay.
So you are addressing your cash flow situation. How are you doing that? Is the bond issue next month meant to do this?
Well, yes, like the previous speaker said, we've got 10 auctions for this year planned, 600 million each time. And yes, if the first one is not a good auction or we fail in any way, then it puts pressure on the next couple. But of course, the revenue has to come in to make sure that we can continue to fund ourselves and maintain our roads.
Just explain, I saw a bit of confusion. There's a downgrade of a rating, there's also a downgrade of an outlook. So what has Moody's actually said here, and what's the practical immediate effect on you?
Moody's has given us a negative outlook, which changed from stable. And I think if you go back, you'll see that 2 days before the panel was announced, we were actually put into a stable situation from negative. So we're actually back 6 months. It has also adjusted our basis credit assessment, and that was a downgrade by 1 to B2. So that has been brought down. The basis credit assessment, of course, says that you as Sanral by yourself, this is what we rate you at. So that has been downgraded. And the reason for that is, of course, that we get such a huge support from government, giving the government guarantee. And, of course, our non-toll road portfolio is fully funded from government.
So if you don't get the type of appetite to take up these bonds, what are your options? And secondly, will you be able to meet you've got 4 bonds that are maturing during the course of this year. Are you going to be able to meet those financial obligations?
Like I said, 600 million a month puts pressure on the next ones. We have to do the other side as well, get the revenue in. If we come to a stage where none of this happens, then obviously we have to go to government, say, okay, this is the situation, and that's what we've been doing. So we keep them abreast the whole time. This is our cash flow situation at the moment. This is what we can and what we can't do. This is how long we can last, given a specific situation.
Now, obviously, you can't say what's going to happen politically within the ruling party. There's clearly disagreement. Gauteng is worried from a political point of view about their popularity and so on. Is there an understanding, though, across the board of the user pay principle? Is that accepted? Is it just the level of payment that is the problem, or is it the broader principle?
I think the principle itself has been communicated now from both the Premier, the Minister and the Deputy President as that is a principle, because it's the same principle that Eskom and the water boards use. So the principle is still there. I think yes, we've addressed the uncertainty, and that the policymakers have to decide whether there is some relief or there isn't. So there is a technical team looking at the recommendations from the panel, where it hits people the hardest or who is suffering in any way from the tolling, and that is the basics. So that they have to make a decision. The Premier indicated by end of February they want to make it clear what is going to be the way forward.
Will that come in time for your bond auction?
No, it won't for the first auction.
Okay.
I was struck by the fact that Sanral has 2 portfolios. So you've got your toll roads and your non-toll roads. Your non-toll roads accounts for about 85% of your revenue. Would it be at all an option for you to increase the percentage of the non-toll roads in case e-toll doesn't work out?
Well, maybe just to take a step back, for a road to become a toll road, there's a long process for it to be declared toll. And the first step of that is to make sure that that road or the expansion that you're planning for can fund itself. So long before that happens, all of these things have to happen. The economic studies have to happen. The socio-economic studies have to happen. So before it's declared a toll road. In the legislation, it clearly states that Sanral cannot cross-fund, which means that the money I get for the non-toll roads cannot be used on a toll road, and vice versa. So that is a very clear ring-fenced portfolio between toll and non-toll. And then secondly, it's actually good to understand the bigger picture. If you think that South Africa has got 750,000 kilometers of roads, This portion that we're talking about is 200 kilometers. So that perspective, of which Sanral deals with 21,000, it's good to keep that in mind, to say if we make this 200 kilometers our main focus, we're losing 750,000 that still needs to be maintained.
Wow. Well, thanks to Inge Mulder, who is CFO of Sanral.